Good evening, I am your host, Jack Remington of Jack Remington Political Analyst. It's good to be back. I took a 29-day hiatus, so this video is called, What Would You Say If I Told You? And I'm going to have bits of Biden breaking into the Capitol and other tidbits. So good day, everyone. Hope you had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And again, I must apologize for taking the 29 days off. But that rest was sorely needed to get recharged and a lot of things to do around the house. 2020 was a bad, forgettable year for most people, and I do concur with that assessment. However, if January 6th is the precursor of things to come in 2021, then maybe 2020 might not have been so bad, and we might have to reconsider how bad it really was. But the seeds were planted, weren't they? The January 6th, this insurrection of the siege of the Capitol building while Congress was certifying Joe Biden to the presidency, that's the topic of the day. My official statement, all of the so-called rioters, protesters, need to be held accountable. Why? Why would a conservative Republican Trump supporter like me say that? Well, the timeline that was leaked to the most unlikely of strange bedfellows of the GOPers and conservatives, the Washington Post, confirmed that there were 3 separate insurgencies of the rioters. The first group, 10 minutes before President Trump gave his farewell speech at the Ellipse. Number 2, the 50 minutes during the winding down part of Trump's speech. And number 3, the third group was 5 to 10 minutes after Trump's speech was over. Donald Trump apparently did not know this was even going on. Now, what would you say if I told you few, if none of the rioters seen on the photos, videos, etc., were at the Trump speech? The Capitol building is 8,000 feet away from the Ellipse, a mile and a half. Wall-to-wall people and traffic jams galore. I'm from the area of the country. I've been there hundreds of times. I seriously doubt that these rioters had teams of 3 waves, coordinated by President Trump. What would you say if I told you that it took the mainstream media 5 full calendar days to at last tell us, the public, what parts or part of Donald Trump's farewell speech caused this horrible, unthinkable, diabolical, racist, sexist, violent, dangerous, life-threatening attempt at a coup, a takeover of our government like America has never seen? Remember, folks, it took them 5 whole calendar days to pin the tail on that donkey on January 11th. Did you get that? We'll play the clip for you.
I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard.
So I want to say this again. Peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard. Now, are you asking what is the big deal? Trump is gone. He left yesterday. But let's get back to the January 11th, the 5 calendar days after those fascist Pearl Harbor-like destruction, or at least that's what Senator Chuck Schumer said about those riots and rioters and protesters.
I have never lived through or even imagined an experience like the one we have just witnessed in this Capitol. President Franklin Roosevelt set aside December 7th, 1941, as a day that will live in infamy. Unfortunately, we can now add January 6th, 2021, to that very short list of dates in American history that will live forever in infamy.
The Democrats have been full court press against us and Donald Trump since Trump's upset victory over the 5-2 favorite Hillary Clinton back in 2016. Yes, they have finally got Trump in the end, but they saw the final chance to make sure that Donald Trump cannot run in 2024. How do they do that? They need to get him convicted of something. So Speaker Nancy Pelosi had to get her false teeth into something. With the one article of impeachment, if they can get him impeached, even though this is a second attempt, what would you say if I told you that the subsequent FBI investigation found that Donald Trump did not arrange this coup, despite what political hack this girl here writes about? What would you say if I told you that some, not all, but some of those bad actors on January 6th were plants by Antifa, Black Lives Matter, and lone wolves with an axe to grind? And there were some lone wolves that did not have an axe to grind. Just a few hate the government and general principles and saw an opportunity not to necessarily take over the government, but just to get their attention, get a little bit of revenge, have some fun, take some selfies, put your feet on Nancy Pelosi's desk. Well, it's kind of funny. Nevertheless, they all need to be held accountable. Whether or not they're conservatives or not, it has nothing to do with it. The first 5 calendar days of the news kept reporting that there were 4, then 5 deaths at the DC Capitol riots. One was Ashley Babbitt, the 14-year veteran shot by the policeman as she entered through a broken window. There were other deaths due to medical emergency, whatever that means, and there was no further explanation for the first 4 of those 5 calendar days. Then on the 5th calendar day, the death of a policeman, he had been hit by a flying fire extinguisher, and he passed from his injuries a few days later. That's unfortunate. All deaths are unfortunate. Sad and bad situation all around. Most people agree to that. But what would you say if I told you that there was not one outcry about that policeman shooting Ms. Babbitt? Not one. I will refrain from painting the picture had Ms. Babbitt been a black woman. So Speaker Pelosi is pushing this second impeachment of Donald Trump based on all of this Holocaust-type riot and insurrection takeover. That's their words, not mine. Nancy Pelosi got the House to move as fast as I could ever remember them moving. What would you say if I told you that this second impeachment article against Donald Trump wasn't what they call the all-nighter, meaning that the congressional aides and staffers were up for a 13-hour stint until the final drafting of the bill was made available to the following House members by 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And they just barely got done. Damn, the House of Representatives sure moved fast, didn't they? Okay, so with Donald Trump in the White House for the then 8 days, they were hell-bent on this impeachment, right? What would you say if I played a clip of Trump supporters asking the Capitol Police for backup? What would you say? You don't believe me? Well, I'm going to play the clip anyway.
Why are you letting this happen? Why haven't you called for backup? Where is your backup? This is our damn Capitol building, and y'all are letting it get destroyed on your watch. Call for backup. Get some help down here. And if they don't want to get you, they don't give a shit about you. These people want blood.
What would you say if I told you that the intelligence reports were ignored by both the Capitol Police and the sergeants of arms of both houses, the House of Representatives and the Senate House? What would you say if I told you that all 3 of these chiefs of the aforementioned departments of forces resigned abruptly? They were forced out by Nancy Pelosi single-handedly. In other words, she fired them. This picture, our great, wonderful, nasty Nancy Pelosi praising the 25,000 National Guard troops, but 4 months ago she called them stormtroopers when the then President Trump sent them to Portland and Seattle to squash the rioting and looting and anarchy there. Remember that?
It's very, very important. The use of stormtroopers under the guise of law and order is a tactic that is not appropriate to our country in any way.
It is so un-American what has happened. It is so in keeping with third world countries and dictatorships. You haul somebody off the streets, don't tell them who you are, why you're doing it, etc. It's also unconstitutional.
Focused on trying to save lives with our bill to to kill this virus, just to destroy this virus. And we're there to open up our economy and our schools. The fact that the behavior of one of the members is such that the whole Women's Caucus, the Democratic Women's Caucus, has gone to the floor at a time when our floor time is very precious, tells you how important this is. Nothing is more wholesome for our government, for our politics, for our country, than the increased participation of women, and women will be treated with respect.
Nancy Pelosi called these people stormtroopers, our National Guard, our military, and then now she's praising them. Oh, look what you're doing for us. And the walls don't work? Well, look at that big, nice fencing they got around the Capitol building. Gee, how about that? And I got this Forrest Gump meme I got a couple of days ago, and I'll put it up on the screen. It's a great meme. So, and all these political hacks getting on here, jumping on the bandwagon, trying to make this January 6th few hundred bad actors out of the 600,000 people that's the lowest number I've gotten. Okay, my coworker says only 7,000. I don't know where he got that 7. I didn't ask him. I just want to say that minimum, the smallest number I've gotten on 3 different sites was 600,000. And the other sites got 750,000, and the other site has 1.2 million in the DC metropolitan area. I'm from that area of the country. I've lived there for 30-some years. I've been to the Capitol, I've been to the Lincoln Memorial, I've been to these places so many times. Pardon the plane overhead. We sit here for 12, 13 hours, and there'll be not one plane or helicopter. But the second I start filming, there's planes every 5 minutes. So forgive me for that, and I can't keep turning it off. I have to go to work today, and I want to get the video out. But let's talk some bits about Biden. I haven't watched the inauguration yet. I mean, when I get around to it, I'll get around to it when I got nothing else to do. But my sources tell me that his body language was terrible, and he seemed nervous. I did hear an audio clip driving home last night in the middle of the night. I get off at 12:30 at night. By the time I check everything out, it's 1 o'clock. So it takes an hour for me to get from Santa Barbara to here. So around 1:45 a.m., I turn on you can no longer get the one station up there, the button to get the station down here, and it's playing Joe Biden's inauguration speech. But I did catch that part where he goes, "We're going to fight the racists. We're going to fight the nativism. We're going to fight this from white supremacy." Apparently, he made 3 references in his inaugural speech about that. I am a nativist. Okay, I believe that natives, such as I'm second generation Italian American, and who knows how many generations on my mother's side. She's half Cherokee Indian. So you can take that in your pipe and smoke it. I just feel that people like me have rights over illegal aliens and foreigners. And but our government, your Joe Biden type government, keeps giving them free benefits, free stimulus money. Now they're pushing for free Social Security benefits. They're pushing for free medical care, free amnesty, free everything for these people. Okay, and I got to pay for this. So yes, I'm very angry and I resent that, and I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to resist this Joe Biden.
Our history has been a constant struggle between the American ideal that we're all are created equal and the harsh, ugly reality that racism, nativism, fear, demonization have long torn us apart.
Occupation of the White House. Notice I'm never going to call him President Joe Biden because I'm taking a page of the Democrats' book. Okay, the second Donald Trump won the election on November 8th, 2016, they didn't accept those results, and they fought him for 4 years and how it was an illegitimate president of Donald Trump. With no evidence, of course, and when they did push it, because they had all the resources, they had the FBI, Department of Justice, and 17 alphabet intel agencies, including the CIA, they all said, you know what, there's nothing here. There's no way he could have helped the Russians. He was never in government. He didn't have the access to the government officials. That was Hillary Clinton. But this video is not about that. This video is to apologize to my viewers for taking 29 days off. This video is to tell you I'm back. I'm working on other channels. I'm working on a crime and law and order video. I got my eBay business falling apart, but I'm picking it back up. I'll have some videos on there. I'm going to wind up having like 10 total channels. And it's no longer about trying to make money off of YouTube or trying to scratch out a couple $100 here and there. It's about getting the message out. The message is this: there's something seriously wrong with this country. Our system of government is broken, and nobody seems to care. There is a site that actually won't let me back on. It's called Strident Conservative. They have a national debt clock, and I just looked at it again. There's 27 trillion and counting. A thing that goes every other second. Do you have any idea what the interest on paying that $27 trillion debt, the interest, do you have any idea what that is per minute? I'm talking about it per minute. Okay, it's a couple $1,000s per minute. Is this the interest on the debt to be serviced for that $27+ trillion? It's a couple $1,000s per 60 seconds. Every 60 seconds. That's just amazing. And no one seems to notice. No one seems to care. No one wants to do anything about it. Just open the printing presses up. Sure, you're going to give me the stimulus money? I'm going to take it. It's my tax money anyway. But there's people out there that are hurting. Here's the thing. So while Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and Mitch McConnell got the bodies of houses of Congress working 13-hour straight shift, well, they went home and took a little doggy nap. I understand Nancy Pelosi, she's 80 years old. She got the most stamina. She was one of the last ones to leave, and she was the first one there, so she didn't get that much sleep. While the rest of them strolled in at their leisure, and which is to be expected. They're not builders like Donald Trump. You know, they just they make their money off the people's taxes by force. For them to do this while people are suffering under this scamdemic, which I keep calling it. I'm not denigrating the people that really do get sick, but it's like the CDC says, 94% of them already had underlying conditions that if they catch a common cold, it's going to put them in the hospital anyway. Okay, when you look at the statistics that I've gathered for the last few years, minimum of 80,000 people that have died from the flu every season. Well, this is mysteriously gone for this year. Why? Because they're linking the flu deaths with the COVID-19. How do you know the difference? How do you know the difference? You don't, I don't, but the CDC does. The CDC employs epidemiologists and virologists and other medical doctors. I worked for them for 18 years under civil service in my first real main job at Fort Detrick, Maryland. So I never forgot more about lab animal tests and Coxiella burnetii, which is Q fever, the Rocky Mountain spotted fever. We worked on all those diseases that were for the military, vaccines for the military. That's what was the USAMRIID's mission. I'm a USAMRIID USAMRIID employee. Okay, I never forgot more about all that. Anytime I wanted to decide to call on people up and ask them, they would answer my question. And I've already seen some couple clips scattered throughout the country, different news sources where they would contact former USAMRIID doctors and PhD people, researchers and scientists, and they're all saying if it's airborne, there's nothing you can really do about it. And the masks do not work. So Dr. Fauci was correct March 8th on 60 Minutes, but he had to reverse his position. He wasn't thinking clearly. He's a 32-year government hack employee himself. Dr. Fauci is a big Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton fan. He had to take back some of his donation money because he says he didn't understand the donation requirements when he was trying to give money to Hillary Clinton. And he was also hot mic one time said, I really don't like Donald Trump, but I'm helping Hillary because, Donald Trump's going to smash the pharmacy industry, the big pharma. Well, that's Donald Trump's job. You have two choices in this world. You can be a Donald Trump populist, or you can be, the Wall Street bankers and just, rape the middle class and keep everybody poor. No upward mobility because there's no chance for anybody. And sure, we can do that. And that's what Dr. Fauci, Dr. Fraudgy is what I call him. And that's what side he's on. He's been contradicted. I don't know how many times. Every other week he was contradicting himself. And his Dr. Bricks with the scarf on her neck, the lady who says don't travel during Christmas time, and she's caught somewhere visiting her grandmother. Well, my grandmother is old, and and so she abruptly resigns. Remember what these people are, folks, and I keep telling you over and over again. It's rules for thee, but not for me. That's your Democrat Party, and you put them in the White House. I know there was some voter fraud irregularities. I've already had 5 videos taken down. It's one of the reasons why I took 29 days off. I figured, well, let the algorithm pick on someone else or get lashed onto someone else, because everybody can just, they don't understand the thing that sometimes you got to take a break. It's amazing when you take breaks, you start getting your focus back. You start getting your vision back. And the vision couldn't be any more crystal clear for me. That vision could not be any more crystal clear for me, that the country's in serious trouble. And Joe Biden's already saying he's against nativists like me, and he's a native. He was born in this country himself. I guess he hates himself. This is Gemini. This is my baby. This is Gemini. Look at this. This is the bottom line for this video, is that we have someone occupying the White House now, and I'm not even going to give the vice president any press time whatsoever. So that should tell you in itself how I really feel about that situation. You want to know anything about her, just call Willie Brown. He's for those of you who know who Willie Brown is, that should say it all. So I'm just here to tell you that it's going to be a tough 4 years, and it's to our benefit. Back to Donald Trump. Then I'll get back to Joe Biden. I got distracted by my sweetie pie here. If Donald Trump really was going to do these bad things that they're trying to pin on him, it would have been completely different. Don't think that Donald Trump doesn't have the information available to him to see how Napoleon Bonaparte did it in 1792 during the French Revolution, when he was a gunnery sergeant. He was a second lieutenant, even though he was only like 24, 25 years old. He knew how to set those cannons and get the horses right. He knew how to get the most efficient force, because everything was scattershot. I mean, it was just grab what you could, and that was it. I mean, they didn't have logistics like we have in modern military machines today in the military-industrial complex. He looked at the situation, and he saw how the Bastille got opened up, and Robespierre let the prisoners out to terrorize the lords and nobles and the rich people and the wealthy people, and that was therein lied the French Revolution. So people like that, that's just how they are. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got something out of it. going to close this video out and work on the next one. It's always a great day to be an American. Thank you. Have a great day.